Hi all, Andy here and welcome back to the channel where tonight I am back with the Ford Fiesta Mk7 for a video that may help some of you, as I'm going to be covering very basic maintenance for the beginners on the Ford Fiesta Mk7. And this is going to include how to check your oil level, how to check your water level, where the various fluids are under the engine bay, and a walk around of the features of the engine bay. But of course, if we're looking at the engine, the first thing we need to do is release the bonnet or pop the bonnet. And the way we do that is there is a small flap in the driver's footwell in a UK model car where you pull the flap and it releases the bonnet to a point in which you can open it. So I'm going to show you that first. If I reach down under the dash right next to the outside wall of the car, you can feel a small flap, and if I pull it, you'll hear that pop and you'll see the bonnet raise. Now you can see that the bonnet is loose, but it doesn't open, and that's because there is a small lever just above the Ford badge that we need to pull to the side that will allow us to lift the bonnet. And the way to find that is look at the very middle of the badge and put your finger under, and you'll feel a small catch. Or if you look under there, you'll see a small yellow lever. And all we do is lift that lever and that will release the bonnet. There you can see the yellow tab that you lift to the side like so, which releases the bonnet. Now with the bonnet raised up, it won't support itself, but there is this bar that runs the whole length across the engine bay, and it's clipped in with this hook part on the passenger side. Release it from that hook, and then what you do is you clip this into the bonnet at the top, and that will hold it securely. So here is our Ford Fiesta Mk7 engine bay, and I can give you a quick run around of the components that we might need to check on the car on a daily basis. First up, you have got the expansion tank and the coolant that is situated right over here. Now this has a habit, this lid, of failing. Where it's constantly getting hot, this lid tends to fail, and I'm going to undo that to show you what I mean. This one is fine. You undo the cap and it comes off. Now these lids for the expansion tank are two parts. You can see that that spins around, and what tends to happen is it fails to engage in time, and when you try and take this off, it just spins on the tank and won't remove, and this bit comes away from the lid and gets stuck in the tank. Now the only thing you can do if that happens is to force the cap off. It's broken anyway, so you force it off and replace this whole part. You can buy these direct from Ford still, so if you need one of these, go to your Ford dealer and you can pick one up, and I will leave the part number on screen to identify that as well. But this one is all good. It's also important when you refit it, you ensure that the thread is engaged on the tank. And one thing you should never do when the car is hot is you should never remove this cap with the engine coolant hot, because the coolant will expand, this will get very hot, you'll jump out of the way, and boiling hot coolant will be gushing out of the tank, causing you to potentially get burnt. So never remove the cap when the engine coolant is hot. And to understand if you have enough coolant in the car, there is a gauge on the side that has a minimum and a maximum sign on the side, and you need to make sure that your coolant, when the car is cold, that coolant level is just under the maximum line. Max, min, and we can see here that the coolant is too low in this expansion tank, so we're going to top this up with the right mix of coolant and water. Next to the coolant tank is the brake fluid reservoir, and again you twist the cap to remove, and that has a small insert inside it that you pull up like so, and then you can see the brake fluid inside. Now what tends to happen as the brake fluid gets old, it starts to become discoloured and dirty, And if I look in there, I can see the lovely golden colour has turned a nasty green. Not only does it change colour, but it also loses effectiveness due to the amount of pollutants, so worth changing this now. And it is important to ensure you put the right brake fluid for your car in the reservoir. And it says quite clearly on the cap that this takes .4 type brake fluid, so when you are replacing brake fluid, always use the .4. But be careful when changing brake fluid not to get it on the bodywork, as it is corrosive and will destroy your paint. Sitting right down here, this silver component with a auxiliary belt at the end of it is your alternator. And the alternator is what keeps your car battery charged. So if you find that your car battery is not holding charge, and even with a fully charged battery the car comes to a grinding halt, it could be your alternator is failing. Now that can also become noisy and have bearing noise, but a great symptom of the car having a failing alternator is it will not charge the battery. So if that happens, you probably need to change one of these. You can do that at home. I wouldn't say it's a regular maintenance part, but it is possible to do at home by slacking the tensioner off, loosening and removing the belt, changing the alternator, and you can be ready to go again within half an hour to an hour. And sitting just down here is the dipstick. And the dipstick is what we use to check the engine oil. Now the engine oil should always be checked when the engine is cold to give you a true reading, because that will allow the engine oil to return to the oil pan when you're checking the dipstick. You should also check the oil on the car on a flat surface, and the way that we do that is we reinsert the dipstick back into the tube, push it all the way home after wiping it, bring it out, and then we can see on the dipstick there are these two marks, one here and one there. Now we can see that the engine oil on this car is particularly low because the engine oil should be between the two marks. It's just above the minimum at the moment, but that's not great, so we are going to put some engine oil in the car to make sure that it is at the right level. But we'll put the dipstick in now so we don't forget to return that to its hole. Now the engine oil on the car I have covered in a video on the channel, which I will leave a link to above, but what we would do is we would add the correct grade oil through this oil filler right here on the top of the rocker cover, and then fill the oil level up to the right level, a small bit at a time, checking on the dipstick to ensure it's filtered through as part of that change, and then we should be good to go. If your spark plugs are causing a problem, there's 4 of those and they're situated 1, 2, 3, 4 right here in the top of the rocker cover. You'd remove these coil packs from the top of them and insert new spark plugs into the holes if you were going to change them. And you can see also the spark plug leads terminate here. Most of this plastic here, these ones that look like a bunch of bananas, they are for your air intake manifold. So you don't need to worry about those. There's very little you'd need to do on those at all, if anything. So ignore these. They're just part of the car for allowing air to enter the engine. But of course that air needs to come from the air intake, which is situated right here. Now the filter for the air intake is inside this box, and you may need to change that at a service interval, which I will put on screen, and that is quite easy to do. There's just a few Torx bolts situated around the top there that allow you to lift the top off, change the filter, and you're ready to go. So again, that is a nice easy fix to do at home yourself. Situated just to the right of the air filter with this blue cap is the windscreen washer reservoir. The windscreen washer reservoir is something you're likely to need to top up yourself in the future. So you can just add the right level of screen wash and water to this tube to ensure that the car has got plenty of fluid for washing the windows. Just in front of that is the battery for the Ford Fiesta. Now changing the battery for the Ford Fiesta is a very simple task. It's just these two 10mm nuts on the top holding this brace bar in place, and I have covered how to change the battery on your Ford Fiesta on the channel. So if you'd like to learn how to change the battery, then please do click the link above right now. So to recap, the key fluids would be your coolant, your brake fluid, your oil, your windscreen washer fluid, And that's really about it. That is all you need to worry about to keep your car on the road. So that is a quick walk around of your Ford Fiesta Mk7 engine bay, and I hope you found that useful if you're trying to locate components or understand how your Ford Fiesta works. If you've enjoyed this video, then please do give it a thumbs up. Please check out my channel where you'll find loads of videos on the Mk7 Fiesta of how to undertake certain maintenance tasks, some a little bit more complex than these, but all things that will help keep your car on the road. As always, thanks for watching and see you soon. Take care.